Welcome to EnergizeUtv, where energy meets modern life. I'm Angel Marie Monticelli. Today's season 7, episode number 32. Before we dive in today, I want to take a moment to name something really special. I'm recording this episode from the historic Wrigley Mansion here in Phoenix, Arizona. You may have heard of it. It was built by the chewing gum magnate William Wrigley Jr. in 1929. This place is truly iconic and nearly a century of history, beauty, and legacy. And it's perched above this beautiful city of Phoenix, Arizona, and it is a breathtaking view, and you can only imagine it. And I share this because everything is energy, and energy matters. The environments we are in shape our state of mind, our nervous system, and the way we lead ourselves through the day. And there's something powerful about being in a place built with such vision, such purpose, and reminds us that it's the simple truth. A place like this invites you to pause, to take a deep breath, to feel yourself again right here, right now. And that matters, because you may be moving through life in high gear, carrying pressures, responsibilities, emotions. And sometimes you really give yourself that simple moment to just exhale. So when I say we are meant more than just a survival, I mean this. You are meant to live with clarity and presence and with personal power. And that's why today's episode is really about reclaiming yourself, especially the moments when life feels heavy. And that's why today on EnergizeUtv, turning heartbreak into personal power. Because heartbreak doesn't always have to come with tears. Sometimes heartbreak is you're just disconnected. Like going through the motions while losing pieces of yourself. And if you've ever felt that way, you've looked like you're holding it all together maybe on the outside, yet you're crumbling in the inside. So today is for you if that's maybe you. We're going to talk about what really means to reclaim yourself, that connection to come home, and to turn that moments that feel like breaking into personal power. And I want to share a moment that happened to me. I was in a room long ago at a conference. And what happened was everybody was smiling. It was high level. Everybody was having these networking and getting together. And outside it seemed really great and everybody having a good time. And then this woman came over to me. She was dressed to the nines, classy, polished, completely composed, walked straight up to me. And she didn't ease into it. She didn't start just with a small talk at all. She said to me and looked me right in the eye. And she said, "I know you can feel this in me. I know you see me." And honestly, it stopped me. But yet, this is not the first time this has happened to me over the years. Yet, I looked at her with my gentle way and said to her, "I see you. I know you're not okay." And she exhaled. It was like she finally exhaled after weeks. And she said to me, "I don't know why I'm here. I feel exhausted. I feel outside of my body. I'm running on empty. Yet inside I feel like I'm crumbling." Does it resonate with you if you felt that way before? You know, and her voice was trembling while she was telling me this, looking in my eyes. And I could see in her eyes that what she was carrying, and what stuck most of all of this whole thing was from the outside, no one would have ever guessed. She looked like she was functioning, yet inside her system was so overwhelmed with stress. And I want you to hear this clearly. That moment wasn't about her being broken. That moment was about her being human. And I know that you feel the same way, that you've had those human times. Because heartbreak doesn't always come with that dramatic event sometimes, or that heartbreak that happens when you have it happens when you're been carrying a lot and too much for too long. You know, when you're showing up, performing, leading, producing, I get it, I understand it. Yet somewhere along the way, you lose that connection to yourself. And that is when I have seen again and again, whether it is in a conference room, in a class, in a boardroom, in a healing space, in a conversation with a client, the outside looks completely fine. I'm great. Yet in the inside, you are running on pressure. Let's just say that maybe you're just not grounded all the way. And when someone feels that crumbling, it's often not a mindset problem. It's a nervous system problem. It's the body saying, hey, I have been on hiker for too long. And that is why reclaiming is not about pushing harder. It's about coming back to what is real, coming back to your breath, coming back to your body, coming back to the part of you that is still here underneath that noise, the noise, you know that. Because personal power is not forced. Personal power is presence. It is being rooted inside yourself that can come and move around you, and you don't have to what? You don't have to disappear to get there. And heartbreak, as painful as it is, can become a doorway. And a doorway back to you. So today, I want to give you 3 action steps to begin reclaiming yourself. Not theory, no fluff, no nothing. Real steps you can take right now to feel that. When you feel that disconnection, that overwhelm, or like you have been holding on way too much and you know how that feeling is and you're just like holding on. Because personal power is not something you force. It is something you return to, and it's a choice, a day, a moment, every single time. So sometimes when you're feeling in your life that you're not only about is happening, everything is happening to you, what happens is you can be in an old emotion, an unfinished moment in your life, or an unprocessed emotion. And that stress, that system that never fully processed, it's almost like the body holds it quietly inside, and it really does. It's beneath the surface until it's brought out into awareness. So action number 1, identify what you are carrying. What is present in your body today? Is it pressure? Is it grief? Is it shame, blame, guilt? There's so many emotions that we could label them. Yet the thing is, it's not as a problem. I don't want you to look at it that way. But just kind of identify, just as information. Because once you can name what it is, you can stop running it by and again, because that awareness helps you to begin to release it, because it's energy. Remember, everything is energy. And that is where your power returns. Let's take a deep breath on that and remind yourself to what? Identify. Take that moment to identify. Beautiful. So once you have that name and you're carrying it with you, we're going to go to action number 2, reconnecting with your body. Because your body is always the first stress shows up, right? The body has all these sensations, but we don't always connect in a different way to it. So high achieving people, you that are watching high achieving, have learned to live in their minds, thinking through everything. Now I remember that when I was in upper management in executive roles. And that's so true, because they're going so fast and they're in their minds all the time and they're trying to think through things. And yet most people have never taught how to actually come back into the physical experience because they're running so fast. And this is not about fixing anything. No. It's simply about Let's just notice. Let's notice this. Right now, can you sense what the body is holding? Right now, take a breath. I know, but I'm going to say it. Take a breath. Is there tightness in your chest? Heaviness maybe in the stomach? Tension in your shoulders? These sensations, they are often there, pressure and emotion. They're quietly collective over time. And we don't realize that we hold our jaw. We don't realize that we're clenching. And when we really connect to this, that's when it helps us to connect to ourselves again. So letting yourself notice what is present, not as a problem, yet as a real signal. Because the more connected you are to your body, to this, the more connection you will be to yourself. And that is how you begin to reclaim your personal power. Take a breath on that again, and just take a moment to connect to that fully in your body. Good. And please go ahead and take a drink of water, because that's one thing I'm always asking you to drink water, take a deep breath. On Facebook, Instagram, every morning I do a little story that says, I love you so much, dance it out and take a breath and take a drink of water. You'll feel better because I love you so much. So there you go. So let's move on now to action number 3. This is the grounded movement, because awareness is powerful, yet your body also really needs a way to release what has been holding on to. So of course I'm going to say, yes, breathe matters. And we all breathe through things. And I know a lot of executives and a lot of people that I say, just breathe. They're like, oh, I'm going to if you tell me one more time, I get it. But yet, play with me just a moment and take a breath with me, because it will really help. Because sometimes the physical, yes, needs just that relaxation right now. So I want you to use your hands. And as you use your hands, almost like you're clearing space around and you're creating this sense of reset. And in this place, you might feel a little different. You might feel a little tingles, and that's okay. It might be a little bit different for you. So starting at your head, I want you to start at your head, and I just want you to move and feel the gentle sweeps of your hands. Then move them down and go slow and go ahead and pass your face, so that face, you can go down. And as you go down, you might even start to close your eyes and go, wow, this feels really good. Wow. And what's happening is you're letting the tension move out of your system. It might be a little woo-woo for you, but you know what? Do this with intention, because you're really sending the energy. And I even like this one. You're sending the energy to the nervous system saying, it's okay. It's okay to slow down. And it's okay to be in your energy. And as you continue with your breath, and as you do, feel this and saying, I am safe. I am here. And you are letting this go. And now, let's finish this with a very nice Tai Chi move for grounding. And this Tai Chi move is coming out and going down, and shoulder width apart, and moving that energy down, and then moving the energy coming back up and coming back to center, and just centering your energy, returning to calm, returning to you, and feel that energy. And come on back to me. There you go. And thank you so much for playing with this and feeling your energy now, as you are now in a place of relaxation, but yet you've identified it. Now you know where it is, and now you've moved it. Because the thing is when you shift that, not only in your mind, yet in your whole body, and that's exactly what today is about, is reclaiming, turning that heartbreak into personal power. It's a practice. It is learning how to come back to center, even when life feels heavy. And that's why I'm so grateful for our conversation with Nicole Allison today. Nicole brings a unique perspective because she comes from a strong corporate and hospitality background. She's a former CFA with a degree in hotel management, and she understands high performance environments, life transitions, and the emotional resilience it takes to rebuild from the inside out. This is such an important conversation because heartbreak can feel like an ending, yet with the right support, it can become a doorway. A doorway into the new chapter, strength, clarity, and personal power. Nicole, before we dive in, take a moment to introduce yourself in your own words, and who you are and what brought you into supporting women through heartbreak and life transitions.
Well, first of all, Angel Marie, thank you so much for inviting me and having me on the show. This place is so beautiful here at the Wrigley Mansion. I feel like it's like fairy tale land.
Totally, right? I mean, it's like...
Yeah, like I could just sit outside and feel, you know what I mean. So a little bit about me is I've lived in Scottsdale, Arizona for the past 13 years, originally from Oregon. So I'm a small town girl here in this beautiful, almost year-round, warm place. I love it. Some of the things I like to do for fun, I love to take advantage of the hikes here, especially Sedona, which is 2 hours away.
Yeah.
One of the most magical places. And then I like hitting the golfing range. Although I don't really golf games, I like to, but I don't. And earlier you said, tell me about the world. Yeah, it's pretty much Nicole's world, right? So thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love to golf too. It's just been a while. So welcome. I really appreciate it. And let's just dive in because, you know, when someone feels like they're crumbling inside, most people don't see it. It can be a family member. It can be your spouse, and you don't always know. But, you know, what's the first grounded action that you want to give to everybody to take away that they can do when they're feeling that way inside?
When someone is feeling that overwhelming heaviness, that anxiety, that crumbling that you were talking about, I always tell people that is awareness when you're feeling it.
Yeah.
And just to be able to take a step back and name what's going on, maybe even journal it, maybe call a friend and tell them about it. It's literally like, it's almost like admitting that you're feeling what you're feeling, because so many people just stuff everything down inside because they've learned that survival is the way to go.
Yeah.
It can be very debilitating.
And you know what I feel that happens a lot is someone will say, I didn't want to bug the person, or I don't want to, you know, you're busy. And I get that one a lot. Oh, Angel, you're so busy. And it's like, but they're not putting themselves as, I'm important too. And it's not always dumping on somebody else. Because sometimes I get that too. I didn't want to call and just dump on you. Well, that's not it. Because what you're looking for is, let's move on. And that's what you're saying is about the heartbreak can shake your identity also.
Absolutely.
And how do women rebuild that self-worth when they feel like they've lost themselves completely?
Well, I want to touch on what you were saying about women feeling like they're dumping on their friends or reaching out to someone who's busy. And one thing I recommend is communicating and letting someone know, I need to talk. I have things to let off, like that I need to get off of my shoulders. Is there a time? Is there a space that you could provide or make for me to talk to you? And what I found is that settles the person down that's going through it, and they know that there's going to be an outlet. And then the person on the other end can either decline or they can make space and say, you know what, I've got time between this time. And that's probably one of the first steps that I let women know when they're going through things is don't be afraid to ask, but respect people's time. And then they will embrace you and they'll hold space for you. Because a lot of times you're right. We feel like we're an annoyance.
Yeah.
We're a burden. Yeah. And that makes the heartbreak even worse.
Yeah. Because then we feel alone. We feel stuck. Yeah. Oh, I love that one. So go ahead and answer that about identifying, like what is a grounded way that they can identify what they're going through?
Well, I mean, if they're feeling anxiety or they're feeling unsettled or they're not feeling themselves or depressed, I mean, those are all red flags that are indicating that something is off and something needs to be addressed. And so when someone feels that way, it's not normal. It's not normal just to wake up every day and feel like your heart is falling apart or things are crumbling. And sometimes they don't even know what it is that's happening because, again, we go back to they haven't really talked about it. But I find with women, we hold the world on our shoulders.
So true. We really do.
And a lot of us are moms and we're running jobs and we're taking care of everybody because we're nurturers by nature. And so the last person that we nurture is ourselves. And so just taking time and space for grounding is a huge thing. And even just journaling, writing down how you're feeling.
That's beautiful.
Is a great place to start in identifying what's going on.
Beautiful. I love the journaling. And that can be 2 words or 3 words. Just do it. And heartbreak, and the thing is too, is heartbreak can feel like the ending of everything too. Yet we both know that, it's really a doorway. And understanding that doorway, what is possible on the other side. And I think that's what you do with your clients when you see them for coaching. How do you show that glimpse that it's going to be okay?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Angel, because a lot of times when clients come to me, they're feeling very ashamed. They're feeling guilty. They're feeling almost embarrassed to admit that they've gotten to the place they've gotten. And one of the first steps is to ask them, what do you want your life to look like a year from now? What do you want to be feeling? What is, like, if someone, Angel, what does it look like to be in your happy place? And then once they tell me what that looks like in a year from now, no matter how impossible it seems, no matter how far out it seems, that's where we start and we begin. And then it's that we're going to take one step at a time to get to that place. And I find that the women really relax. And I think it's because they hear it, but a lot of times they don't think. They're just like, I just can't even imagine being there. But what if I told you, you will be? And so it's instant confidence that they haven't heard anyone say in a long time.
Beautiful. And I really want to make sure that everyone really knows too that this is for men too. I've seen this work with top CEOs to identify where they're at, to take a moment. So it is for everyone to look at. And, I really love this research that was done at this trauma psychology. And it showed that the body can continue to carry the stress response. Now think about how much stress. And remember, right? Your body doesn't know this stress or this stress. It's the same stress in your body, and it continues to hold that. And that emotion event has, even if it's past, whatever it is, and that heartbreak or that, we're talking a heartbreak, but there's many different ways of this, and that emotion, and it is stuck in the physical.
Yes, and one of the reasons why people stay so stuck in the physical is because they're not just reliving the past, but they're re-talking about it over and over and over again, but they're not making any forward motion. And until we start making forward motion and we start replacing our life with new experiences, new choices, new outcomes, we don't get further away from the problem. And that is just such a key.
I love that, because we really don't get further away. That's really a good one. It's something to consider, to really look at. And this kind of goes into this research about the effect of labeling, has showed that simple naming what you feel. And we kind of already talked about that, but yet really naming how you feel can reduce the intention, because that energy of that, and remember, I'm all about energy, can reduce the intensity of the emotional distress. And it also supports what? That awareness for that first reclaiming of yourself. I love that, because there's a study on it.
Yeah, and I think that reclaiming yourself is, we use this terminology going back to ourselves. And sometimes, especially if someone's had some trauma from a very young age, they don't know what self to go back to. So often we're creating a new identity in a more healed version, which is where I talk about the new experiences, the new positives that we bring into our life, where we get to feel that, embrace that. And again, like I said, get further away from the problem.
Yeah.
And I found that if people don't start stepping into the future, they will always stay in the past.
What's interesting about that is, because we look at it, the reticular brain, and I don't think I'm saying it right,
Particular.
Thank you, thank you. And in that function, we stay in that loop. So we go, well, where am I going? Am I going over here to how I used to? But we don't know what that is because we're in this loop until we create. And that's where a good coach, a good friend, something can help us to shift it. But it takes the effort. It takes the action.
It does. We got to get off the hamster wheel. It's you hear it all the time, right? It's get off the hamster wheel. Well, I'll get on a call and I've been this person, okay? So I am not sitting here saying that I am above this, because the whole reason I'm doing this work is because I've been the person on going round and round and round and round. But until we choose to jump off, it will be our story for the rest of our life. And one thing with coaching or therapy or anybody to hold you accountable is they're saying, okay, sure, this is happening, but what can you do different? How can you change it? What outcome do you want? And so it's more that accountability to making a choice to make a different decision.
Yeah. To make a different choice, choosing differently, looking at things, the perception of it. Oh, I love this. Yes.
And that's the power. You were talking earlier how heartbreak, it can turn into power. That's the power. There's almost nothing more powerful than looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, I have the ability to control my triggers. I have the ability to identify when I'm starting to fall, and I know how to get myself out. That, to me, I feel like I'm a superhero sometimes with myself, because I'm like, wow, when did you become so powerful? 6 years ago, I would have,
Yes, and a lot of corporate people are just they're so driven, they're so, and it's just again and again, and even entrepreneurs, I see that in entrepreneurs, we're just so focused that we forget about taking those times. Yeah. And in your coaching work, one of the things that I'd like to know is, what is one of the most common patterns that you see that's happening there?
Making the same repetitive decisions, digging holes and filling voids. And a lot of the clients I deal with, I want to say that, a lot of the clients I help are doing that through dating or trying to find love to fill the voids, because many of the clients I work with, they're coming out of marriages, they're coming out of relationships, they've been in toxic relationships, and so they're going back out and they're trying to find a person to make them feel better. And that is a huge crush and setback.
Yeah, it really is, because it's all and then it's the self-esteem, it's the self-worth, and it's like, what am I doing? Where am I going? It's all of that. Yeah. And how do you give something to them, like you had a client come in and they were here, and then the result came to here. What did you see that really helped, just like one person?
Well, one of my clients recently, when she came to me, she was coming out of a marriage and felt very lost. And one of the things that happened was that she lost a relationship with her children through the separation from her husband. And I just received a message the other day about how she is rekindling a relationship with both of her kids, and her son is going to be the date in a wedding that she's going to. And when I first started talking to her, neither child was talking to her, and one of them actually had her blocked. And so we've been working on response, not reacting, understanding they have their processing, and to sometimes just self-sacrifice the ego.
Can we just talk a little bit about the ego and how that kind of comes into?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So when I say self-sacrifice the ego, that means that you take a step back from having to be right and having to be heard.
Yeah. And mama bears love that one, and Papa bears. Okay, I'm gonna do it. Papa bears too. But it really is innate with all of us. We want to be right, and it's just how we were hardwired. So I love that one.
And we want to prove, right? So if something happened, like let's just say we were called out for something and we want to prove ourselves right, but the person on the other end, it doesn't matter what we did affected their life and hurt them. All we can really do is say, hey, I'm sorry that my behavior affected you. I would like to move forward. And that is pushing the ego to the side.
I love that. And this has been such a meaningful conversation. I thank you so much for the work that you do and the way that you support people, not just women, but how you support people through this tender life transition. It really is. And I know that so many of the viewers and listeners are going to get something really deep from you. So could you tell us what you're going to give for that free gift?
So the free gift is a heart healing roadmap. It just maps out the steps that we were talking about earlier, like you got to heal it, feel it, heal it, and identity. So it sort of walks you around in a map, has a visual, and then it takes the steps into chronological order and gives you an idea of where to start and maybe where to start, looking within.
Ooh, I like that. Ooh, I'm going to get that one too. So thank you so much. And, as we wrap up now, do you have any final words or what you'd like to leave everyone?
Well, Angel Marie, I am just so grateful that you asked me to be on the show. And I remember meeting you for the first time at the Elevate conference. And I just felt your energy from across the room. I didn't know who you were, but you were someone I had to introduce myself to. And here I am today at this beautiful Wrigley Mansion, taking amazing photos, making memories, making another memory in my future that is just broadening my spirit. So thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm beyond honored.
Oh, you are so welcome. And I remember that because you did come out of nowhere. I was like, I want to meet you. And you know what? Beautiful, beautiful energy. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Here's Nicole's contact information. So reach out. She has so many beautiful gifts to offer. And don't leave without getting her free gift right here. Just scan the QR code and you'll receive it. You know what I want to say is I so appreciate each and every one of the viewers and listeners. You helped raise the energy of the whole planet today. And I see you and I celebrate you. And if you would like to experience more of me beyond this show, I would love to gift you with a trial of my energy reset session. These are gentle Tai Chi inspired movement practices designed to help you feel more calm, more clear, and more grounded. So go ahead and scan this right now, and I'd love to see you online for this soon. So also, if you would like to go even deeper, these books hold the foundation of the teaching you experienced here on EnergizeUtv. They are available for you as well. Now, next week, Annie Gerber joins me to explore the human design as a tool for clarity, self-trust, and grounded decision-making. Here's her spotlight moment right now.
Hello, beautiful souls. I'm Annie Gerber, the founder of the In-Body Experience. I'm so honored to be featured on EnergizeUtv, this powerful space for joy and conscious awakening. Angel, thank you so much for being a radiant example of light and for holding this space for all of us to shine. In our episode, we will be talking about energetic embodiment, the dance between human design and Tantra, and what that means for us in our everyday life. My tip for today is something that I personally practice every single day, and it's simply to pause and check in with your body. So place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and feel your feet on the ground. And just notice where you're holding tension. Is it in your shoulders, your belly, even your booty? And can you soften into those spaces just a little bit more? And always remember to breathe. Thank you, Angel, for this sacred opportunity. I can't wait for you all to experience the full episode. Let's come home to the body where clarity, joy, and abundance already live.
Annie, that was awesome. Remember to check in with yourself. That was so awesome. So mark your calendar for next week. We're going to love this conversation. Remember, your energy is the music of your life. So keep it tuned, keep it flowing, and keep it shining bright. I'll be right here every Thursday at 11 o'clock Pacific, bringing you wisdom, energy, and golden nuggets to lift you higher. This isn't just a show. It's a movement. It's a global impact. Until next time, keep igniting your energy, activating your joy, and always elevating your abundance. So come on with me right now because it's time to play and dance to raise that vibration. Now, this is my signature Shine On song. Now, I wrote it to remind you to practice coming back to yourself again and again. And as you listen, don't analyze the words. Let them just land and take resonance to carry with you. Because you know what? Go ahead and feel the music. Dance with me. And I'll see you next week. And you know what? Let's bring Nicole back. Are you coming back in? Let's dance together. All right, here we go. You got ambition, fire. fire and soul. Look within your heart, let your spirit flow. Ask for what you want, show 'em what you got. Take it to the top, don't you ever stop. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on. Looking for the answers, seeking you will find. Open up your heart, leave it all behind. Smile and laugh, always give back. Glowing like a star, show 'em who you are. Shine, shine, shine on. Raise your vibration, shine, shine, shine on. You're the secret, you're the answer. You know who you are. Look within you, breathe and focus. You're a shining star. Go on and shine, shine, shine on. Shine, shine, shine on. Before you go, take a moment and ask yourself one simple question. What am I taking with me from this conversation? I'm Angel Marie, and this is Energize You TV.